Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you about the Torus column or the electromagnetic field of the Torus column. How this energy need to be anchored. They all meet in the heart space. Okay, and basically think of it. The sun is above your head, and the what do you call it? The sun is above your head, and the moon is below your feet. Okay, is there a verse that talking about a woman clothed with a star over her head and the moon underneath her feet? Remember that? Yeah, I think there is a verse. Talks about that. That's exactly how your energy is supposed to be anchored. And so you pull the energy through solar star. The solar star is underneath your feet, right? The solar star is associated with the earth. Okay, and so why underneath your feet? Because you're grounding yourself into the mother earth. And and then you pull this energy. Basically the moon is negative and the sun is positive. Okay, so you think of yourself like as a battery. The battery has like a positive and negative, right? And it has a neutral. The neutral is that thing goes through the battery. There is, when you open a battery, there's a solid column in the middle of the battery that goes all the way. Yeah, think a AAA battery or any these batteries. They have this column in the middle. The one in the middle is neutral. So all of that associated with the atom. Okay, and so anyhow, all of that is associated with the atom, and so you pull the energy because the moon is think of the moon as a black hole underneath your feet, right? And the black hole pulls, and the white holes push. So think of it. Hi, how are you? Yeah. Somebody says hi. Sorry, guys. Anyhow, think of it. One is negative and one positive. The moon pulls, and basically the energy pulled inside of you through the moon, which is the base of your feet, which is associated with the moon, right? So black holes pulls energy in, and white hole pushes energy out. So think of it, you're gonna pull the energy through the moon, okay, and which is the base of your feet, which is the black hole, through the solar star. You have to start from the solar star, and then you ground yourself in Mother Earth. You ground yourself in Apsu and Tiamat, which is below the earth. The mother and father dragons are that where they resides. They are in the middle of Mother Earth. It's in the core. So, and then you pull, all the way through the solar star. You pull the energy, and you pull them through the black hole underneath your feet. No, underneath. It's not underneath your feet. It's in your root chakra. So, but the root chakra, think of the root chakra is your ground. Is rooting is like how having like a tree has roots. So think of it that way. But anyhow, you pull this. So think of the soul. Solar star is your roots, and this solar star in the middle of okay. So if you do a star, and you put a dot in the middle of the star, that's a root. All right, and it spins clockwise, quarter clockwise. It goes, you know, just think of it. It goes exactly with how the Earth spins. Okay, just look up how the Earth spins. You understand how it's supposed to. And you spin the solar star, and by having this root in the middle of the solar star. So think of I know you think the root chakra is in between your legs right there, but you need to be pulling this energy from underneath your feet. Remember I mentioned to you guys a mother clothes with 12 stars and the moon under her feet. That's exactly. So, and this energy, the energy of the Torus column spins around the neutral part, which is the Sushumna Nadis. Sushumna Nadis is the middle column, right? There is okay. The middle column is your spine. Your spine. The Jacob ladder is your spine. Okay, and then there is a right side. Think of your right hand is associated with the sun, the actual sun, right? And the left side, your left hand, is associated with the moon. So the moon is negative and the sun is positive, and they spin around the Jacob ladder. You understand? And you anchor this energy into your heart chakra. Okay? You anchor it because why you start from the root? Because this is how energy flows, right? But you start from the root because the side of magnetic field that pulls is underneath is your black hole. Black hole pulls. Remember I told you that? And then you anchor it in your heart has 4 zones. The heart you have, it has 4 different sides, the heart, right? Think of them as temples or little cavity within the heart. They have 4 sides. If you look at the heart, if you divide it, it divides to 4. But you're gonna meet in the middle of your heart is called the heart center, which is if you draw a cross in the middle of your heart, you put a dot in the middle of the cross where the cross meets. That's called the heart center. So you pull this energy from underneath your feet and you anchor them into your heart center, where the heart where it's divided 4 sides meets, like right in a dead. Think of the cross, but then it's in the middle. And you pull this energy because you're gonna pull this energy all the way to the crown or your pineal gland. Center of your head. Okay, there's a cross in the middle of your head. So look up on online. I don't know what it's called. I don't want to give you wrong information. What is it called? I can't just think of the name of it. Just say a cross in the middle of your head called. The cross in the middle of your head called. Okay? And so above the crown, think of that little cross is the white hole. Think of the white hole. Remember I told you the white hole push? So you're pulling the energy from the heart center of your heart, and you anchor them in a cross. Remember they're telling you Jesus died on a cross? So that's the cross in the middle of your head. What that was really they're talking about. And you pull this energy and you anchor them in the middle of the cross of your head. So just look up online with the name of the cross in the middle of your head. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to put it in the title. Anyhow, and then when it leaves the cross in the middle of your head, it loops around. You have to think of it as like a ball, right? So when it loops around from your crown, from the cross in the middle of your head, it loops around, and you anchor it. You anchor it all the way back into the bottom of your feet, the root chakra, underneath your feet. You know, they're telling you the root chakra is between your legs, but it's actually is down below, beneath your feet. And all this Torus column is spinning. It's spinning, and it doesn't stop. You know, it has to have this continuation. So when it loops around to the root chakra or solar star, so think of the dot in a solar star. I told you that's where the roots is. And the solar star underneath your feet, right? Solar star associated with the earth, Mother Earth, right? Apsua Tiamat, the mother of father dragons, okay? And loops, it just continue doing, you continue, it loops around this way. It has to have a continuation loop in order for you, for your magnetic field to strength. So that's what the enemy are doing. When you're targeted, you're attacked to stop the spinning of the magnetic field of the Torus column. You understand? And so anyhow, that's what I wanted to talk to you about, how to start this spinning of your Merkaba. So Merkaba is your vehicle. They call it the Merkaba. Why? Because it's your vehicle. The Merkaba is a star. It's a star. You know, think of everybody. You know, is a star. Okay, so why is it? Think of, okay. Now I'm going to tell you how you evolve this star. Okay, how you evolve this star in order to manifest, in order to spin, and in order to take flight. So the bottom. So think of the, you know, remember I told you the bottom, in the solar star there is a root. Think of the root is anchored. You think of the root is a triangle facing down, and the crown all the way. Okay, the root anchored in a heart space. Think of it as a triangle, right? 3 pointed, because you wanna, okay, you want to evolve, or you know, this, you know, star. Think of it of this energy. So when you have to merge, how you merge? You merge the crown. You merge the crown with. You merge the crown and the root and the heart space in one. So think of it as like a star. They're all anchored where? In heart space. Okay? So that's basically what you need to, because the root is associated with, you know, animalistic what do you call it, tendency, which is the lowest vibration. You have to anchor it in order to lift it, in order for this animalistic to dissolve into, to become, you know, when he says, you know, when I think Jesus was, somebody said, you know, I can't remember the verse. Guys, I don't, so sue me, you know, you will. I don't remember the verse. Actually, so it says, when they said you open your eyes, you be able to see, you become like God, because that's exactly what's supposed to happen. Okay? And so I'm still studying about this, guys. I don't claim I know everything, but this is I think this is supposed to be. But part of me saying is there's other way around. you know, you know, is, you know, when you're anchoring this energy, it's part of me saying it's supposed to be anchored in your middle of your head, not your heart chakra. But 95% of me saying is supposed to be anchored in the heart. So anyhow, try both, see what works, right? But or you can do a little bit digging and find out how this energy, how these stars, because remember they're telling you what above is below. So there is a root, in a root chakra there is a soul star. There's another soul star above. You understand? So basically you linking, you know. So you merging, because this is what the other part I was telling you. I think of the root has a star, and the crown was, or the and the crown has a star. So think of the middle of your head, there's a cross, also that you anchor the star there, and you link them into your heart space. Because think of the heart is the engine, heart is the engine that runs everything. Okay? So anyhow, that's my understanding of what's going on, how the energy flows, you know? The enemy would try to stop this spinning of energy, because they want you to be grounded. They want to be able to get to you whenever they want, because they're demons. They are demons, you know. And yeah, because like, you know, they've been attacking me, attacking my family, and they even had in a dream yesterday. They were talking about my brother. My brother, who's been sick for 11 years, they put him in a wheelchair. They gave him a stroke. And I knew they did that. I knew that. It's not like, oh yeah, strokes, everybody gets stroke. No. They can induce a stroke. They can induce a heart attack. They can induce a lot of stuff. Because they've been studying about how to harm humanity for a long time. A long time. Since inception. What do you think these injections they keep giving people for? You know? Anyhow, that's all what I want to talk about, you know. Anyhow, I'm started not, you know, I'm never like YouTube. I never like YouTube because I feel it's controlled system. What you say could be taken against you because they own the system and they control the narrative. When you're talking about God, you're not really getting a lot of flow. You're not getting a lot of when you're talking about God, you're not getting a lot of views. But if you're talking, you know, if you're talking about God, you're insulting God, you get a lot of views. If I started insulting God now, I would get a lot of views because I'm one of them, you know. But if I'm talking about God in a positive way, they look at you like, oh, you are not welcome to come into their platform, and into the platform and post things that are not really considered part of their collective, a part of their agenda, right? So they've been like deleting videos. I said because when I create remix, you know, I created remix through prayers, right? So I've taken I've downloaded prayers through YouTube, yes, but I remix them and I post them back. But my channel is, what is it called? Is I'm not getting money from my channel. Look at me. I have over 300 followers. You know, I don't have that many, you know. So, and I'm not getting money from YouTube. My channel is not about getting money. It's about spreading awareness. It's not about money. You think if I want to create a channel that to make money, I would not be talking about, you know, things like is not welcome, right? So God is not welcome on YouTube. God is not welcome on YouTube. So if I wanted to make money, I would not be talking about God. You understand? because they don't like God. You understand? They own YouTube. They don't like God. So if my channel is about making money, then I will talk about other things, not God. You understand? So my channel is not about money. So they keep giving me strikes and BS and stuff like that. So guys, I'm gonna create another channel outside of YouTube where they have no control over, and I'm gonna keep this channel as a backup. Even if it get deleted, I'll create another one and I just do it as a backup, guys. And yeah, and that's what I'll do. I'll create it as a backup, and I post my videos somewhere else, and I link it into YouTube. I'll leave a link to the other platform where you can actually download these prayers that have been creating for you, and insights that have been taught, because I believe God is, when we're awakened, God putting us in this school. Life is a school, guys. Earth is a school, right? But a school that teaches good, not evil. You understand? So you could do whatever you want in Earth. You can do whatever you want. Nobody's going to tell you not to do whatever you want to do. You want to attack me, you want to assault me, or you want to, verbally insult me, and do all of that. You know what I mean? That's what it is. But it's going to come up with the consequences. When you do harm to others, it's going to come up with the consequences. So God doesn't intervene, on people's choices, because God taught you. Why you think the holy books came? Even though they're saying that, the holy books are false. YouTube is saying that. All these channels, favorable channels, they're saying, the books, Holy Quran and Torah and the Bor and, and Injil and all. There are, think of them like the Abrahamic, they call them Abrahamic religion in, that's what I've taken in university. They call them Abrahamic religion, even though it's not real Abrahamic religion, it's God's religion. Our father Abraham, the father of the prophets, he was a prophet. He was not God. Wasn't God. You understand? So these insights or this teaching came through his bloodline. It was not coming from Abraham. It was coming from the higher, the infinite, the Almighty. The one who exists outside of creation. God exists outside of creation, but people are in earth, like think of India, they are worshiping his creation, the cows, rats, whatever, rabbits, monkeys, or whatever in India. But these people, this is a major sin, when you do that, you worshiping a creation that versus a creator. You understand? So anyhow, that's why I'm going to leave YouTube. I'm going to do as minimum work on YouTube. I'm going to try to post somewhere else. I'm just going to link into YouTube. If this channel goes, it doesn't matter. Create another one. I'm not really attached at the hip, you know what I mean, to YouTube, because I'm not making money. When I'm, using prayers or whatnot, they're like, whatever. You know what? Whoever attacked me and saying that I remix. Okay, I'm remixing Holy Quran, prayers or whatnot, and I'm giving it for free. I'm not making money. So for the person, whoever said that I'm using, prayers from their channels or whatever, I'm using words of God. That words of God are not yours. you know what I'm saying? It's not. It's not yours. They're God's words. When people understand that, you understand that you cannot own what's not yours. You know what I'm saying? So anyhow, I'm not really, I'm not upset. Honestly, I swear to you guys. I swear to God. I swear to God, guys. I am not even upset about all of this. It's intentional. Because every time you bring awareness to a problem and showing you how to fix a problem, whatever, they don't like it because they want you guys to be lost. 144,000 target individuals, they want you to be lost and hopeless and feel like there is no way out and all of that. Create this, bombardment of evil against you. They don't want you to help. They told me a long time ago, they were going to leave me alone if I were to stop helping you. If I were to stop helping you. You understand? Did I stop helping you? No. So I've been targeted because I refuse to stop helping you. That's in reality of things. It's not forever, guys. I believe, when God has beast of earth. He has 3 beasts of earth. And also he has armies that actually, angelic armies are actually, Juj and Majuj are angelic armies, All of them are being, I believe they are being, captured or being chained right now until when God says enough is enough and he released them, destruction to these people is going to come. But that's what I want. It doesn't mean I'm going to get it, but I want God to give me authority over Juj or Majuj, And I'm going to use Juj or Majuj to bring destruction to the enemy, That's what I'm going to do. That's exactly what I'm going to do because these people have no right to oppress anybody. People want to say whatever they want. They should be entitled to say whatever they want. So you have no right to strip away from their freedom, from their, ability to express themselves and whatnot. Okay? So that's what I believe. But the other, there is a beast of the, there is a beast of the forest, or the one who lives in a forest. There is a beast of the ocean, and there's a beast of the sky. They all have dominion and they all have powers, destructive powers. Also, I would love of God to give me dominion over them. And then let's go to war. You know what I'm saying? You want to keep playing these games, and stuff like that. If God giving me that dominion or authority over them, we won't be talking, guys. I'll make sure the end of you comes, the BS of you come to an end, because you are BS, nothing but a BS. You're a noise and you're annoying. And who gave you that right? God giving humanity free will. I told you guys, God doesn't want to intervene in human affairs because he gives you free will. It goes against the law. Free will is a law. God doesn't break these laws. He put it in place, But God can break the law. He can change the ending of the book. Was Holy Quran says that when ending is gonna go, or the Bible or Injil or whatnot. If they are all, so if God want to change the ending, God will change the ending. God has the final say. So do not be stuck on, these people are predictive programming saying, life is going to end like this. Hey, are you naive? Are you gullible to think God is that predictable? You understand? Yeah, God can change direction in a matter of nanoseconds. It's not even, you not even begin to understand how fast. When they said, a day in God's life or God time is like 1,000 years or whatnot. Or, so think of a second. What is a second? It's not even, it's not even half of a second. It's not even a second, It's like, what is that equal in God's time? Okay? So anyhow, be naive and think God is that predictable for you to think you're going to put God in his place. You know what I'm saying? Don't be gullible, don't be stupid, What's going to come to you guys, you're going to regret. You're going to regret having crossed God, Almighty, But guys, this is what I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask God for a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? God is very giving, okay? God never said you could not ask me, okay? God never said you cannot ask me for things. Never said that. He even he encouraged people to ask, So I believe I'm gonna ask. I have been asking, and God will give you what you think is worthy of receiving. Okay? You do the spiritual work, guys. 144,000. You help others. You fight for God. They said in the Holy Quran, it says every child is born. Every child. And I mean, even in the enemy's side, every child born in earth is in God's army. Why do you think God's saying that? Because God is at war since inception with these wicked doers. The floods and the fires and the hurricanes, earthquakes, and all of that is like the famine, all these things happening on earth since inception. God has been at war, you know what I'm saying? So think, and God says every child is born is in God's army. Why did he say that? Because these wicked doers, the final battle, these people are going to be destroyed, okay? Because God's army is being risen now. 144,000 being awakened, you know what I'm saying? 144,000 being awakened, and we are destructive force of God, And so if you align yourself with God, the infinite, if you align yourself with God, God will give you, because God knows what your mindset is. I've been, okay, God is testing me for a long time. God is testing me and to see if I'm worthy, of receiving, I understand it, What do you think is God? God has used this enemy. God has used the enemy to attack me. You think I don't understand that? I understand that. God used the enemy to attack me because when demonic beings also attacking your consciousness and attacking your being, attacking your body, attacking your whatever, it releases all these hidden motive or intentions or think of rage, anger, anything you have done in life. It comes to the surface when you've been attacked. When you've been attacked, God used these people to resurface what's has been hidden. I understand that. I looked at it and I one time I puzzled and I said to myself, "Oh wow, God, very good one," But I thought about it and I said to myself, "Wow, God, He used the enemy to resurface all your flaws, all your mishaps, and all that makes you not perfect in God's eyes. And God corrects when everything resurfaces that God doesn't like. God corrects that, remove that from you and stuff like that. Freeing you. He's freeing. It's freeing when God removes something is negative or he think it's not really for your highest spiritual growth. God remove it. Don't you think I know that? I know that God uses these enemies to attack me in order to resurface us. The enemy doesn't know that. The enemy is naive. It's so gullible that they do not think that's what God is doing. You know what I'm saying? Because anyhow, that's what I'm telling you guys. When God allows for evil to happen to you, is not to punish you, is to correct you and to evolve you, to make you a strong person. He allows all the house of Abraham, all the prophet bloodline, our bloodline, is being attacked. Go look in Injil, Quran, Zabur and Bible, whatnot. Look on all these holy books. You'll find out they're all been attacked in one point of their life. You understand? If they are getting it, if house of Abraham, Isaac and Jacob got all this What make you think? What make you special? You're not get what your forefather have gotten, right? So when you understand that, this is how God's correct things. I know when I've been attacked, I looked and I looked at the enemy and I looked everywhere, and then I looked at God and I saw what's happening. I saw what's happening to me was done to me through God. You know, understand? So things happen to you because God allows it, you know? Yes, God will bat for you, if you're aligning yourself for what's good. God will bat for you. God will do good things for you. You understand? So do not think negative of God and why me and trying to dwell on the past or whatever. But I want to just tell the enemy, wow, yeah. So the enemy, thank you, the enemy, for you being used by God, because God manipulates you to believe that you're punishing me, but you're actually elevating me. Exaltment come through this trial and tribulation. Because how you handle things when you've been attacked, and how you conduct yourself and stuff, how you are being evolved heavenly, how God, okay, nothing is given to you without heaven acknowledgement. So anything is given to you, it comes from heaven. You understand? Nobody on earth have that power to take anything God given you, even though they want to do like destiny swapping and BS and stuff. It's gonna come a time, they're gonna have to give back what they've taken, because they're not gonna have no use for it. You know what I mean? Because they're gonna be at war, they're gonna know how to stop what's coming. If I have, so I'm encouraging you. I'm encouraging you guys. 144,000. Ask God for things. God is giving. I've been asking God. I'm not gonna tell you the list of things I've been asking God. I told you a few, yeah, but hey, you have to be whatever. Be creative for what you want from God, right? God is giving, but I'm gonna tell you something. God doesn't give you for doing nothing, okay? If you do absolutely nothing, what do you think God is gonna give you? Because you're not helping others, you are not aligning yourself with God, you are not really battling. Remember, you are in God's army for a reason. So you have to keep batting. You have to keep fighting. I get exhausted. Yes, we all get exhausted sometimes. So through these attacks, but it never stopped me from stopping. It never stopped me from not stopping. I would say from giving or trying to create or trying to help others or whatnot. It never stopped me, even though I'm bombarded with attacks. These attacks are not fair because these people working in legions, they're working in groups to attack you. They are cowards. You understand? They are cowards, and yeah, because they're fighting, they use people to fight you. They never really fight you. You remember the old days? I saw on TV today, the Crown of England invited Harry and Meghan to a little get-together, barbecue, if you will. You know what I've noticed about this video on YouTube was on TV. They were all wearing army clothings. They're all wearing army clothing and going through this little get-together, But what kind of king or leaders who will never go to wars themselves, who uses others? You understand? And in the old days, King David went to war, King Solomon, all this king of House of Abraham, they all went to war. They wear armors and they went into war. That's why God created an armor. The armor of God is reserved to kings. You understand? So these people are wearing clothes to be like an army leader, generals, whatever, but they never experienced war. They never went into war. All they've been doing is electing people to do batting for them. You know, they're electing people to fight for them. You understand? Thank God, guys, I am not that kind of king. You know, I'm not worried about going to war. I would put on armor of God and I go to war. So I'm not that kind of person, you know, to leave my, you know. But hey, if God given me an army, I will show you what I'll do. Okay? So anyhow, guys, do not worry. Do not worry. And do not worry and keep fighting. Do not worry and keep fighting, and God will endorse you. Just you have to put your best forward, okay? Sorry, it's a long rant, but I think it's important to talk about these things, okay? And yeah, so unfortunately, I'm going to be leaving YouTube. I'm going to try and find another platform when I'm going to post all these videos for you guys, okay? I'm going to post all these videos to help you guys away from censorship, oppression of YouTube or other platforms. You know, whatever you say, they're like, oh, because they put this, you know, put their stupid AI. Anything you say, it will be taken against you. All right. So you guys ought to find another platforms to rely on, because YouTube is Nazis, Communist Party. Think of the Nazis and the Communist Party and all of that. They're all one, you know. That's what YouTube is, okay? And their other platform, anything that owned by Google, owned by the Zionist Jews or whatever, is communist. It's clearly, you know. Anyhow, I hope this helped, guys.